Taehyung POV. I leaned against the fence near the basketball court. My arms crossed as I watched Jimin and Jungkook talking in hushed voices. Even from a distance, I could see how Jungkook looked at him. Like Jimin was the only person in the world. It made my chest tighten with frustration. For weeks now, I had been pushing aside my feelings, pretending like it didn't bother me that Jungkook and Jimin were getting closer. But the truth was, it did. It bothered me more than I wanted to admit. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my emotions. Just then, Minji appeared beside me, flipping her long hair over her shoulder as she followed my gaze. Minji, you're staring too hard. Taehyung. Her voice was light and playful, but I could sense something hidden beneath her words. Minji was always aware of everything going on, and I knew she had noticed the tension between me and Jungkook when it came to Jimin. Taehyung, it's nothing, Minji smirked, tilting her head. Minji, oh, really? Because it looks like you're about to storm over there and rip Jungkook away from him. I didn't respond. She wasn't entirely wrong. Just as I was debating whether or not to interrupt them, Jungkook suddenly walked away, his expression unreadable. Jimin stood there for a moment, staring after him, before turning back toward the court. That was my chance. I stepped forward. Taehyung, Jimin, he turned to me, his expression shifting from surprise to curiosity. Jimin, Taehyung, I hesitated, running a hand through my hair as I searched for the right words. Taehyung, what's going on between you two? Jimin blinked, clearly caught off guard. Jimin, I don't know. That answer only frustrated me more. I took a step closer, lowering my voice. Taehyung, then figure it out. Jimin, because if he hurts you, I won't stand back and watch. Jimin's eyes softened slightly, but before he could respond, Minji suddenly looped her arm around his. Minji, come on Jimin, I've been waiting for you. Let's walk home together. She smiled sweetly at him, but when her eyes flickered to me, I saw something else, something colder. I exhaled sharply, watching as Minji led Jimin away. I wasn't stupid. I knew Minji had her own motives, and I wasn't going to let her win. This wasn't over. Jimin POV. The air in the school hallway felt heavier than usual. Maybe it was just me, or maybe it was the tension that had been building between Jungkook, Taehyung, and me. I sighed as I made my way toward my locker, trying to ignore the glances from students whispering nearby. Ever since Jungkook and Taehyung's rivalry became noticeable, people had started paying more attention to me, too much attention. As I opened my locker, a familiar voice called out behind me. Jungkook, Jimin! I turned, my heart skipping a beat at the way he looked at me, his sharp eyes locked onto mine, unreadable yet intense. Jimin, oh hey Jungkook. He leaned against the locker beside mine, his expression softer now. Jungkook, did you think about what I said yesterday? I froze. He was talking about what happened after school when he walked away after Taehyung confronted me. Jimin, I don't know. Jungkook's jaw tightened for a moment before he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Jungkook, Jimin, I don't like being in the middle of this either. But Taehyung, he's not just a friend, is he? I swallowed hard, knowing exactly what he meant. Taehyung had always been there, always watching, always protective. Jimin, he's important to me, I admitted. Jungkook's expression darkened slightly. Jungkook, what about me? My breath hitched. He was asking me to choose, wasn't he? Before I could respond, someone suddenly looped their arm around mine. Minji, Jimin, there you are. I turned to see Minji smiling at me sweetly, but the moment she glanced at Jungkook, her smile faltered. Minji, oh, you're here too, Jungkook. Her voice dripped with something close to annoyance, but she masked it quickly. Jungkook straightened, his expression hardening. Jungkook, yeah, we were talking. Minji ignored him and pulled me along. Minji, come on Jimin, I need to tell you something important. I glanced back at Jungkook, who stared after us with an unreadable expression. I didn't know why, but something about Minji's sudden involvement in my life felt off. Jimin POV. Lunch was supposed to be a time to relax, but lately, it had turned into a battlefield. I grabbed my tray and turned, looking for a place to sit. Before I could make a decision, Taehyung appeared beside me, his smirk already in place. Taehyung, sit with me today. His voice was light, but there was an underlying challenge in his eyes. Before I could answer, another voice cut through. Jungkook, Jimin already has plans. I turned to see Jungkook, standing a few feet away, his tray in one hand, his gaze locked onto Taehyung. Jimin, I do. Jungkook smirked slightly and took my wrist, his grip firm but gentle. Jungkook, yeah, you're eating with me. Taehyung's smirk faltered for the briefest second before he crossed his arms, his gaze narrowing. Taehyung, since when do you decide for him? Jungkook's jaw clenched. Jungkook, since he's mine. The entire cafeteria seemed to freeze. My breath caught in my throat. He just. Taehyung scoffed, shaking his head with an amused chuckle. Taehyung, we'll see about that. Before I knew it, I was seated at a table between the two of them, both staring each other down like enemies. Minji sat nearby, watching with an unreadable expression. But when I caught her staring at Taehyung, I realized something. She wasn't watching because of me. She was watching because of him. And suddenly, I felt like a pawn in a game much bigger than I understood. Jimin POV. The air was crisp as I stood on the rooftop, staring at the city skyline. I needed a break from everything: the whispers, the stares, the unspoken words between Jungkook and Taehyung. I exhaled sharply. Why did this have to be so difficult? Jimin! I turned to see Minji walking toward me, her hands behind her back, her usual sweet smile in place. I frowned. Minji, she giggled. You looked like you needed some company. I sighed. Not really, but what do you need? Her smile widened. I wanted to invite you to a party this weekend. Taehyung will be there. I tensed. Of course. I crossed my arms. And Jungkook. Her smile faltered for a brief second before she shrugged. I don't know. Why does it matter? I narrowed my eyes. Because I don't want to be dragged into something messy. Minji's eyes softened, but something about her expression didn't sit right with me. It's just a party, Jimin, she said sweetly. You should come. It'll be fun. I didn't respond, but deep down, I knew this wasn't just about the party. It was about Taehyung and Jungkook. And Minji. She had her own reasons for wanting me there. The music was loud, the lights were dim, and the house was packed. I stood near the entrance, regretting my decision to come. Jimin, you made it. Minji appeared beside me, beaming. She looped her arm around mine before I could move. I scanned the room. Taehyung was there, leaning against the bar, talking to some people. But his eyes flickered toward me the moment I stepped in. And then, Jungkook. He was near the couch, his dark eyes locked onto mine. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't relaxed. He looked pissed. Minji tugged me toward the drinks, oblivious to the tension, or maybe enjoying it. Before I could process what was happening, Taehyung suddenly appeared beside me, a smirk playing on his lips. Look who decided to show up. I gulped. Yeah, I guess I did. Taehyung leaned in slightly. I'm glad you're here. I felt someone watching. Jungkook, and I realized I had walked straight into a battlefield. The air outside was cold, but my skin burned from the tension inside. I had stepped out to breathe, but Jungkook followed. You shouldn't be here with him, he muttered. I turned, startled. Jungkook, he stepped closer. Do you like him? I blinked. What? Taehyung. His voice was sharper now. Do you like him? I hesitated. He's my friend, Jungkook scoffed. That's not what I asked. Silence. Then suddenly he grabbed my wrist, his grip firm but not painful. His eyes burned into mine. You're mine, Jimin, he whispered. I won't let anyone take you from me. My heart pounded so hard I thought he could hear it. But before I could respond, Taehyung's voice cut through the silence. You sure about that? We both turned. Taehyung stood there, hands in his pockets, his smirk gone. His eyes were darker, now challenging, dangerous. And I knew this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the war between them. I avoided them both all weekend. I needed time to think. But Jungkook wasn't going to let me. He found me on the rooftop before class, his eyes searching mine. You've been avoiding me, he said quietly. I sighed. Jungkook, I just need time. He took a step closer. Do you love me, Jimin? My breath caught. What? His jaw clenched. Do you love me? I hesitated, my chest tightening. Did I? Jungkook exhaled sharply and ran a hand through his hair. You don't have to answer. I need to know where you stand. My heart ached. Jungkook, The door behind us slammed open. Taehyung. And from the look on his face, he had heard everything. Minji smirked as she scrolled through her phone. She had been watching everything, every fight, every moment between Jimin, Jungkook, and Taehyung, and she knew exactly what to do. Jimin was the key. If she could push Jimin toward Taehyung, then maybe, just maybe, Taehyung would finally look at her instead. She smiled to herself. It was time to play her next move. I wasn't expecting it. I was walking toward my locker when Taehyung suddenly pulled me into an empty classroom. Jimin, he murmured, his hands on my shoulders. I need to know the truth. I swallowed hard. What? He took a deep breath. Do you have feelings for Jungkook? I froze. His eyes were desperate, searching mine. I couldn't lie. Yes. Taehyung's grip on my shoulders loosened, and for the first time, his confident mask shattered, and I realized I just broke his heart. Jungkook sat in his room, staring at his phone. He should have been happy. Jimin had chosen him, but something didn't feel right. Taehyung wasn't just a rival. He was Jimin's closest friend, and Jungkook knew what it felt like to lose Jimin. His hands tightened into fists. He had won the fight, but had he lost something even more important? I stood between them, Jungkook on my left, Taehyung on my right, Minji watching from a distance. I had made my choice. I took a deep breath and reached out to the person I had always loved. Jungkook, Taehyung exhaled sharply, closing his eyes for a brief moment before nodding. Jungkook stared at me, shocked, before his lips curled into a soft smile. And in that moment, I knew I had made the right choice.